So in communicating, we like to also not just be accepting and allowing, but also prepping that nurturing soil for communication to occur. Things like setting your boundaries. If you like to be approached a certain way, some people are very friendly and some people are not. It does not mean that the connection isn't there, and it doesn't mean that we have to change how we are drastically. But we should be respectful of that space that we're entering. If we wish to create a separate space where communication and stillness in a moment will occur, where you get to experience your creation. So the more that you recognize things in yourself and the more you know yourself, the more you are able to recognize things in another, even if they be different. Highly sensitive can mean many different things to many different people, or display itself, manifest itself in different ways. But you resonate with it. You can recognize it, even though it be different than yours. That's a little deep sometimes, the way I go, but so approach the person with respect, always. And set your boundaries firmly but gently. And that's where the balance of the sacred masculine and divine feminine come into play. That very sacred balance is really nice. And this part becomes easier if you already have a balance. If you're balancing it out, this will help you. Tune in. And be open to the experience. If there is a disagreement, then where can I learn? How does this serve me? Or if there's a disagreement where the person is not even reading or listening or whatever to what you're saying, then it's very appropriate to just say, thank you, I don't think the experience of this connection serves me. It's not worth the investment of the energy. And that's not insulting, that's just being very honest. Now you find a way to say things, of course, that are acceptable. But you feel me. And communication takes on a whole other dynamics too. Especially when you're around a lot of people, use that to speak possibly more in tune with their lingo. I vary the different things that I say perhaps something on one subject, but if I'm talking to a group maybe 18 to 23, I will say it much differently than if I'm talking to an older group. And in terms of my followers and in terms of the people I interact with, they're normally from very different walks of life. So I have to adjust. And that's why studying different paths, different things, just always be open to that. Because then you'll be better able to present something common already between the both of you. And if they did not see perhaps the value of this connection, then you bring something else to the table. You bring something that they can resonate with. If we're trying to attract, if we're trying to, really own that energy and what we invested in. And communication is very, it's kind of like what uses the battery, communication does. But unfortunately, people spend more time trying to be liked, trying to be following whatever culture tells them to, trying to, keep up, keep up, keep up. And there again, just like anxiety, we're diving into other people's darkness versus our own, versus learning how to better express ourselves as ourselves. We are, spending a lifetime learning to express ourselves, constantly changing according to whatever the culture dictates. So in communication, trying to be as authentic, trendy new word, as possible. However, as yourself, not authentic because it's trending. And setting boundaries becomes very easy like this. And you don't worry, you don't spend half the day feeling guilty about, well, I told that person off. Well, did you say it with love and compassion? Yes. Okay, well, then you didn't tell them off. If anybody takes the setting of boundaries from me as an insult, I give you one chance to, okay, that's not what I said. Please listen to what I'm saying. Don't add any other words. Because it's hard enough just having human kind of words, English, Because sometimes what we feel is so much more dynamic than what can be expressed in a word. So, setting of boundaries, if somebody takes it as an insult, then I attempt to say bows in much respect, and if it's still not taken, then that's it. There's no more purpose. You are either blocked cyberly or I turn around, I walk away. And it requires, I suppose, strength, but it's really something that you already have and possess, and that isn't such a big deal by the time you get to being comfortable with setting boundaries. It's very important to learn, though. Very important to rid yourself of guilt for setting boundaries. And in communication, it's so important. And it eases that, well, how am I supposed to talk to this person? I never know what to say, but I have so much to say, and I don't say anything at all. Or when you communicate and when you're in a communication, when you're in a dialogue, it should be back and forth energy, back and forth. When you're in a really good one, those brainstorming kind of events, it's that creative stuff. One person starts playing an instrument, the other one joins in, and it's just flowing. We need to bring communication back to that, instead of draining, instead of task, So those are good ground floor things to get into play. I think that's a lot to contemplate. And then we'll go into some things in the virtual that were the things that I went over in the blog. Things to look for to keep you present in that moment as you are interacting with another fragment of yourself or another person, however you wish to look at it.